would you like to say anything? Okay. Go ahead, please, now.
Hello, I'm Professor Donata Vidakovic, Samardzija.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I mean, the thing is like your name. I see.
Yes,
so
because I put
your
the
email address. Okay.
Yes.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
No problem.
I'm so sorry.
No
so
problem.
I would like to give you the speech to you, Professor
Okay, thank you.
Samardzija. And
Okay.
sorry again for my
No problem. No problem. Okay, I will share my screen.
Yes, please, and full screen, please.
Okay, is it okay now? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, greetings to all of you. I hope that you are all well and healthy. I will briefly present my research. The title of the research is Urban-Rural Differences of Female Students in Indicators of Nutritional Status and Body Composition, Level of Physical Activity and Individual Sedentary Activities as Factors that Define Obesity. I will try to be short and precise. Just a second to see if it is working. I don't know why I cannot turn to, okay, it's okay now. So obesity is the subject of numerous studies that highlight the interaction of multiple factors that contribute more or less the development of obesity. Obesity has become a global public health problem, we all know that. Of particular concern is the increase in obesity among children and young people, which has increased dramatically over the last few decades. It's extremely important to monitor nutritional status on a regular basis to determine an individual's health status. In practice, the body mass index is most commonly used as a predictor of nutritional status. And other indicators like waist to height ratio or percentage of body fat are less commonly used, although they are very important because they indicate the distribution of body fat and the proportion of body fat in total body mass. The guidelines of the World Health Organization indicate the application of alternative measures to establish the distribution of body fat that will define the abdominal obesity, which is often an indicator of risk for developing a number of diseases in adulthood. A growing problem of contemporary society is insufficient physical activity, which is a progressive problem among children and young people, and which leads to increase of body weight and the appearance of obesity. Results from one global survey that I found on 146 countries in a sample of 1.6 million students aged 11 to 17 indicate that 81% of representatives were not enough physical active. In Croatia, which was also covered by the global survey, 70.1% of male students and 84% of female students did not have adequate level of physical activity. Comparing the results of research whose object of monitoring were urban-rural differences in nutritional status, the results are conflicting. Numerous authors point out that the results are related to the level of urbanization, but also depend on some variables used to estimate. The purpose of this study was to determine differences in indicators of nutritional status and body composition, level of physical activity, and certain sedentary activities towards the place of residence. The study was conducted on a sample of 208 female students aged 10 years, based on 7 morphological measures. Indicators of nutritional status and body composition were calculated. I calculated body mass index, waist circumference, waist to hip ratio, subscapular tricipital skin fold index, and body fat percentage. Overall level of physical activity was estimated by a standardized questionnaire, PAC-C questionnaires. And on this slide, I represent results. This is a table of descriptive indicators, assessing nutritional status and body composition, overall level of physical activity, and individual indicators of sedentary activities. I will not dwell too much. I will just point out a few important results on other slide. The arithmetic mean of body height, which is written here, and body weight correspond to the reference values for the Croatian population with respect to age. Comparing high values of waist to high ratio obtained in this study with the reference values of Fridriksson obtained on the population of German children, it can be concluded that the respondents are at the borderline for developing the risk type of obesity, which is abdominal type of obesity. By comparing the average body fat percentage with percentile values of body fat for children according to the Schwann, it can be concluded that students are on the borderline for overweight body fat percentage category for the measured age group. Sorry. On this slide, I represent proportion of female students with normal body weight, overweight, and obese, according to the place of residence. I will only point out that 26.12% of urban students and 20.62% of rural students were overweight and obese. The results reflect the growing trend of overweight and obesity. On this slide, I represent the results of Mann-Whitney U test, which was used to research the differences according to the place of residence. And we can see that in weight to high ratio, percentage of body fat, and overall level of physical activity, there are some significant differences. Urban respondents have more central distribution of body fat and higher proportion of body fat in total body weight. And female students from rural areas have a significantly higher overall level of physical activity. There are no significant differences in sedentary activities. For the discussion, obesity is on the rise in Croatia. According to the latest data from the Croatian Institute of Public Health, 34.9% of children between the ages of 8 and 9 were overweight or obese in Croatia. As a form of physical inactivity, Croatian Institute of Public Health highlights the time spent in front of the TV and electronic devices. In its report, 56.1% of children spend 2 or more hours a day watching TV or using electronic devices, while on weekends, this percentage increases to 87.4%. In this research, also percent is high. 68.75% of female students spend up to 3 hours daily on TV, while 83.17% of female students spend half up to 3 hours daily on computer, which is definitely concerning. For the conclusion, I will be short. The results indicate that female students from rural areas are still more physically active, which contributes to a better distribution of body fat and a lower proportion of fat in total body mass. Although the results showed significant differences in individual indicators of increased nutritional status and overall level of physical activity with respect to residents, it's noticeable that the problem of overweight and inactivity was present on both examples. I was short. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor. So, if there is any question, we can get it. All right, it's very interesting study. In fact, it's very important study also. The statistics that you showed us, especially for the usage of technology in a wrong way, I believe, is very disappointing. I think this statistics not only regarding in the Croatia, but also in all over the world.
All over the world, yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, when you there is one question, in fact. Wait a second. All right. I guess I misunderstood. All right, I'll continue with my question. So when you stated the statistics in Croatia, this is also the results of your study, right?
Yes.
So did you check also the female and male usage of technology, TV and computer?
Sorry, did I?
Did you check also the usage of TV, or, like, I would say, screen time, right? On TV or like tablet or computer, in front of computer, doesn't matter. It's called, I guess, in the literature, you are probably familiar with it, screen time. Did you check also the distribution in between the gender, like female and male usage?
No, I didn't, but that's the next phase.
Okay, okay. And again, I mean, this is, as I told you, this is a very interesting topic. And then today, in fact, we have a invited speaker in the afternoon, at noon, in fact, not afternoon, Gregor Stak from Slovenia, and then he will talk about no child's land. You know, there is no land for the children to play, in fact, to be active.
Yes.
Countries like Croatia, I mean, sorry, not just misunderstood, but like in terms of the territory, you don't have like a big territories and then, you know, flat places, most probably. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think this is also an effect?
Definitely, definitely, that's also an effect. But we have a Mediterranean climate. It's not so cold, and children have opportunity to play outside. But I think that parents are the biggest problem, because they have to motivate children to go outside more, to have physical activity outside, and other.
Okay.
Also in schools, we have in this lower classes, we have 3 hours of physical activity per week. That's not enough. And unfortunately, we don't have some other sport activities organized in schools. So I think that's also one factor that is bad.
Okay, and there are, in fact, a couple of questions. I will turn on the, I think, Stevo. You can talk now. Stevo, can you hear us?
Okay, I unmute now. I think you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Can you confirm me? Thank you. Sorry, I have label room 1, but I just would like to ask something. It's connected to your last answer. Maybe I missed, but I didn't see the region or the places where you took your participants. So I just would like to ask you, do you think, because you mentioned Mediterranean area, but in Croatia you have continental, also Pannonian, and comparing those three regions, the lifestyles is totally different. So just would like to confirm me which region was take place of participants, and do you think you have some differences between those three regions I mentioned? Thanks.
Yes, the research I conducted was on an area of Zadar, which is Mediterranean part of Croatia, and some earlier research that I found on other areas of Croatia differ. On continental area, the level of physical activity is even lower, and I think that's probably a climate factor that is affecting. What was your other question? Sorry.
Sorry, I was, I mute myself, so need some time to unmute. The first question was the place, and another question was what do you think about the differences, because we have some different lifestyles in this area, also in other areas of former Yugoslavia. So I think you answered.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Popovic. And then we have another question, Samardzija, Professor Samardzija, if you are okay with it.
Yes, okay.
So we have Vargish Anthony. Now, Dr. Vargish, Dr. Anthony, you can ask your question right now.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, I also missed the earliest part of that. But I could see that in Croatia, also like in any other country, the obesity in school level also increasing. But my question is, do you have really a very good, physical activity program for the students? Because I have seen just now you're saying that you have 3 classes per week, the PE period. And still, we are not in a position to control. So any other effective program you are suggesting or proposing to the government?
Okay, thank you. I already mentioned, I think that's one of the topic problems, because in schools we have 3 hours per week of physical activity, but there are no other organized sport activities for children in these lower classes. In higher classes, we have sport clubs, and it's different. But here on this age of 6 till 10 years, unfortunately, rare schools have some organized programs, and children don't have opportunity to encourage to a physical activity.
Okay, thank you. Everybody is the problem, because in our country where we have even only 1 PE class for the students, but it's not an urban area; it's a very rural area. Maybe because of that, they may be little more fitter than the urban students. Maybe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you, Dr. Samardzija.
Thank you.
I guess our other presenter is not available. Cevdet Tinazci, I would like to ask one more time if he's here, available. I mean, I cannot see his name on the list of participants. Thank you to everybody to join the first session of this Congress. So I would like to see you for the next session, which is going to be in 30 minutes. So we will have break, 30 minutes breaks, and then the next session will start. I will strongly suggest you to follow the invited speaker speech, because as far as I can see, so many participants, so many audiences in this group are very familiar to the topic of the speeches. So you are very welcome to join us for the invited speakers also. Thank you for your participation again.